What's up guys, my name is Krause. Now this video today might be my most valuable one yet, because today we are going to go over everything needed to successfully build up a branded one product Shopify store. Now I know this is going to be a longer one, however I can assure you guys that if you are going to take action right now, you are going to know more than 99% of people actually using Shopify. Because today I'm literally giving out gems for completely free. I'm going to show you different ways of building up your store, improving your conversion rates, and so much more. So to get started, please guys, I do have one condition. Make sure to turn your mobile on airplane mode, make sure to remove all of the distractions, and let's actually get started with the video. To get started, we are going to get ourselves a free trial. Now, by using the link down below, you are going to get access to an exclusive discount, which is basically going to allow you to try Shopify free for 3 days. And after that, you will just have to pay $1 for your first month. So just put in your email address and then click on Start Free Trial, and then Shopify will go through some questions. Now, actually, to save us some time, we can just skip these aren't really important. Then put in where your business is going to be located. In my case, I'm just going to quickly change this to the US. However, this is basically going to come down to where you are located and where you are going to have your physical location, or basically where you are going to set up your company. Now, right here, you will then have to create your Shopify account. I will just sign up with email, and I'm then just going to put in a random password right here. I'm then just going to click on Create Shopify Account, and this is then going to take a couple of seconds. And now we are going to be redirected to the actual Shopify dashboard. Now, if we're now going to take a closer look at the left right here, we can then see all of the different sections of our Shopify dashboard. Now, we are going to go through this later on step by step. To now get started, we will have to first of all activate our store. So as you can see, we are just going to have to pay $1 for the first month. And additionally, we are also going to get $50 in store credits for the Shopify App Store for completely free, which basically it's pretty mind-blowing. We are definitely going to take advantage of this in this video. So just click on select a plan right here to actually activate your free trial. Now, basically the most popular plan is going to be the basic one. You will basically get all of the features that you would most likely need. And if you do want to upgrade, you can always do this later on. So I will just click on select basic, and now we will then have to put in our payment method. And we can now then actually subscribe for our free trial period. So as you can see, we are just going to pay $1 for the first month. And additionally, we are going to get $50 in App Store credit. So just click on subscribe right here. Alright, perfect. Now our Shopify store has been activated and we can get started by adding our product onto Shopify. To do this, simply just head over to the product section on the left right here. And then we are going to have the option to add our first product. To get started, you will then have to add the title of your product. So in my case, this would be the Air Frost. And if you don't have any products to sell, I currently give out my Shopify course for completely free, where I do cover everything from product research, product fulfillment, to basically scaling your store and so on, all for free. So make sure to click on the link down below if you do want to get access to that. But either way, the title is going to be the Air Frost. And I will then actually also include a simple trademark symbol. I'm just going to copy and paste this right here. This kind of also basically helps in building up trust for your product. And then we can actually set up the description. Now I do want to say that you can actually also just leave this blank right here, as we're either way going to set up multiple sections later on, showing off your product, showing off the different use cases, incentivizes on why people should buy, and so on. However, if you do want to also add a description, you can do so by simply just pasting this in right here. Additionally, you can actually also use this AI feature to either rephrase your text, extend your text, or simplify your text, or also you can actually just generate a text using these basically using prompts and so on. This basically works similar to ChatGPT. And then we will have to actually add the media of our product. Now I would actually recommend you to now create a folder with all of the different images, all of the different media types for your product. You can actually scrape AliExpress listings for this. You can also look at competitors. Just make sure to actually keep things organized and just make sure that you are going to save all of the pictures that you have. So to get started, I will now actually add, I guess, 4 pictures onto this. I'm usually a fan of not overcomplicating this, so I'm going to add this default picture showing off my my Air Frost in this case. And then I'm also going to add pictures for each of the different color variants. As for the pricing right here, we can then actually set the price right here, and we can also set the compared price. But what does that mean? Basically, if you, for example, are going to price this fan at $29.97, and if we're now going to set the compared price at, let's say, $69.97, this is now going to show that the product is discounted from this compared price. In this case, this would have an approximately 50% discount. Actually, let's make it 5.7. Like this. So this would now have a 50% discount, and this would then be actually shown on the product page. As for inventory, you will basically just have to set up how many products you have in stock. Now, in this case, I'm just going to say that we do have 1,000 of these in stock. However, you can actually also select that you do want to continue selling when out of stock. This does make a lot of sense if you're, for example, dropshipping. Then this quantity section right here doesn't really matter too much. As for the shipping option right here, actually make sure to put in a real shipping rate, because this is then going to be used later on to calculate all of the shipping fees and so on. So in my case, I'm just going to say that this is going to be £2. I don't know, I guess let's just say £1. This isn't going to be too heavy. And then we can actually also add all of the different variants. So I'm just going to select add options or size right here. As for option name right here, I will then just select color. However, you can also put in whatever you want. So in my case, I do have a white option as well as a black variant, and let's say that this is going to be called mint green, okay? And then I will just have to select done right here, and now these got added onto our store. Now you will just have to update the stock. So let's just say that all of these variants do have 1,000 units in stock. And now we will have to set the actual picture that is going to get shown. So basically, if someone selects the black variant, we do want to actually make it so that the black image is going to be the first one to show up, right? So to actually do this, you will just have to select this right here. And then you will have to actually upload your images. And as you can see, we can now actually select the black one. I'm just going to select it, and we can now go over the same process with the green one as well as with the white one. Perfect. And we can now actually also update our search engine listing. So this is just basically going to be for SEO purposes. I'm then just going to basically change the title, and I'm then just going to add a headline like the number one cooling fan for your home. I don't know. I'm just making things up on the go right now. However, you will just have to customize this depending on your own product. So we can then actually also set the URL handle, so you can customize this if you want to, as well as the meta description, but in most cases, this is actually going to be pretty well done by default. So now actually just save your product. Then just make sure that the status has been set as active. Additionally, also make sure to customize the vendor right here. Just make sure to put in your title. Otherwise, this is going to look quite unprofessional. So I'm just going to add this, and I can now save this. And now we've successfully added our first product. Before we are going to customize our online store, we will have to set something up almost equally as important, if not even more important, which would be our brand identity. Now, Alex Hormozi also talks about this. Brand identity basically is a key to success when it comes to almost any business out there. And by setting up a strong brand identity, basically this is going to help to differentiate your business from all of the competitors out there. And it will basically help you position your brand as a professional premium brand. You are going to stand out, and if you are going to do this correctly, you can even charge premium prices just because your brand identity is so strong, and just because people actually think that your brand is the superior brand out there. Now, when you are going to talk about brand identity, there are basically three core things. Obviously, there are also more things to this, but at its core, this is just going to be name, colors, and logo. Let's get started with the name. First of all, you do want to actually look for a catchy, short, but yet simple name. You don't want to basically have anything long. You do want to have something which ticks in the brains of your customers and which people remember. So basically you can just ask yourself, what is your product about? What basically helps your product? What kind of unique selling points does your product have essentially? You can also use the Shopify name generator to get some ideas, or ChatGPT. I will leave you a link to the Shopify name generator in the description down below. It basically has all of the tools. All of the tools that I'm going to mention throughout this video are going to be linked down below. Domain availability is also super important. Now you can actually use Namechecker and Hostinger for this. Let me quickly show you this. Basically, with Namechecker, you can put in your brand name and you're then going to see all of the different social media platforms as well as the .com domain right here. And you are basically going to see where that exact ad is going to be available. Obviously, nowadays it is super important that you are going to have your Instagram, YouTube, Twitter ad and so on. So this is basically a tool that is going to help you with this. Additionally, you can actually also, let me quickly change this right here. You can actually also use Hostinger to look for a domain. So if we, for example, are going to go for Airfrost, as you can see, this isn't actually going to be available for the .com domain. Now, additionally, you could actually use airfrost.shop. However, I think for this domain, this also isn't going to be taken. The third option, which in my opinion also is pretty good, would be .store. And let's see, now this also isn't taken. So actually, if I would really build up this store, I wouldn't use Airfrost as a name just because I don't have a good domain. You don't want any .info domain, .me domain, .io domain. Obviously, this also comes down to your niche. For example, for the clothing niche, .xyz also does work fine most of the time. But if you are in the general product niche, and basically just if you have a normal product, you don't want any bad domains essentially. Now additionally, let's head back to the PowerPoint, you do want to actually set up some colors about basically for your product. So you will just have to ask yourself what colors are typical for your product. I know, super simple, but a lot of people do forget this. So for example, for our Ice Frost product, obviously the main color that I'm going to use for this is going to be something bluish, something which kind of represents ice. And it is super simple, but a lot of people still yet forget this. And you can actually leverage a tool called coolers.co for this. Once again, as always, I will also leave you this in the description down below. I'm not actually affiliated with them or anything. And you can actually use this tool to just get some general color palettes, which you can then actually use for your store. Now, these aren't going to be perfect all the time, and most of the time you can't actually use this, but still, oftentimes this actually does give you quite good color variants, which you can then implement on your store. As for the third and final thing for brand identity as of now, this would be the logo. So actually a lot of people do really overcomplicate this, and I don't know why. Essentially, you do just want to create a simple logo. Most of the time this can be just work marks. Let me quickly show you this. Work marks are basically just logos which do have your brand name inside this. This works perfectly fine. Additionally, you can actually also customize this, more on this later on. And basically you will just have to ask yourself, what should customers associate with your brand? So in our case, let's once again use our example for this, the Airfrost. Obviously for this product, we would want to actually use something which represents that this is going to help you keep your room cold. So maybe a snowflake, maybe a polar bear, I don't know. Hey, basically anything like this. If you, for example, do have animal product, then you could, for example, create a logo with dogs and cats on it. It's really not complicated, but a lot of people still yet overcomplicate this. So let me now actually show you how to create a logo for your store within Canva. So you will just have to open up Canva. I assume most of you already know how this is going to work. As you can see right here, I already tested this out. Essentially, I will also leave you a link for this down below. Essentially, you will just have to look for logo, and then we can basically look for anything related to our brand or to our product in this case. So I will just maybe create a logo cold. Let's see what is now going to happen. As you can see, now we are going to have tons of different logo variants, which potentially we can all use for our store. In this case, for example, we do have this snowflake logo, this hot and cold ice mountain logo. Actually, just for the sake of this video, let's simply now go with this ice mountain logo. I'm just going to click on customize this template, and now this will open up the Canva template editor. This is super easy. Now, as for me, I'm just going to delete this text right here, and I'm then going to change this text to Airfrost. Okay, perfect. As you can see, this potentially could be ready right now. We can now maybe make this a little bit bigger, maybe something like this. However, actually, I will just undo this kind of warp effect. To do so, just select effects, and then I'm just going to click on shape none. And I'm rather going to replace this. I'm going to move this around for a bit. Let's, for example, do it right here. Maybe something like this could actually work pretty good. And I will then actually also change up the text a bit. We'll make it a little bit bigger. Perfect. I think something like this could work perfectly fine. You really don't want to overcomplicate it. You can actually also do something like this. It basically just comes down to your personal preference. And then once you've created your logo, you do want to add a new page, and you do simply want to basically add this icon onto this right here. And now we do have our favicon basically. A favicon is going to be useful because this is actually going to show up on top of all of the web pages of your store. So you also do want to set this up so that your store is going to look professional and so that you are going to have a strong store identity. And now we successfully have created our normal logo as well as our favicon. We now basically want to click on share on the top right, and then we do want to click on download and make sure to actually size this up a bit and also select transparent background. Now this is going to be a paid feature. However, if you don't want to pay for Canva Pro, you can also use my free trial down below, or you can additionally also use remove.bg. This is going to be a free tool which is going to automatically remove the image background of your logo essentially. So in my case, I'm just going to select that, just going to click on download right here, and now this automatically got downloaded, and we can now actually open up this zip file right here. And then in this case, I would just open up the same folder as beforehand, and I'm just going to drag my two logo variants onto this, and now we do have this available for the later process. So that's basically it as for brand identity. Let's now continue by starting to customize our Shopify store. To do so, head over to the online store settings right here on the left and then navigate to themes right here. As you can see, the Dawn theme by default has been installed. However, we are actually going to change that. And to change your theme, you will simply just have to click on Visit Theme Store right here, and then you are going to be redirected to the Shopify theme store. Right here you are going to see tons of different themes, basically for all sorts of different niches. However, to get started, I would recommend you to just sort this by free. To get started, a free theme does work just as fine, and then you're going to see all of the free ones. The ones that I would recommend you to use would be either the Sense theme, the Refresh theme right here, or also the Dawn theme by default, okay? Now the Dawn theme usually does work great for kind of clothing related products, so as for this tutorial, we aren't going to use it, we are rather going to go for the Sense theme right here. So I'm then just going to click on it. You can also view a demo store right here of this exact theme, and then I will simply just click on Try theme right here, and this will then actually add this onto my online store. After a couple of seconds, this now should have been installed, and then we do need to publish it to make it our primary theme. Once we did so, we can actually go ahead and open up the Shopify theme editor by clicking on Customize right here. Right here on the left, you are then going to see a general overview of all of the different items inside your Shopify store. Similar to other web page builders, Shopify is going to differentiate between different kind of sections, and inside these sections, you are then going to have different kind of blocks. Like for example, this block right here would be the heading text, this button block would be the button. Now, once you've selected any of these elements, you're going to see all of the different settings right here on the right, and you can then edit all of the different blocks or sections depending on your own likings. You can actually also delete sections by simply just clicking on Remove Section on the bottom right, and you can change the view of your site by using these icons right here on the top right. We can get started with this from top to bottom. So first off, we do have our announcement bar. Now this is actually super useful to display all sorts of different incentivizers on why people should buy from your store. In my case, I will simply just update this to something like minus 50% off all products. And then I will actually also make this clickable by using this link button right here. I will just link this to my product page right here, and now this is clickable, and whenever someone is going to click on it, they're going to be redirected. If we're now going to continue, you can see that we actually haven't set up our logo yet. To change that, we will have to head over to the theme settings right here. Now, these kind of work as the general default parameters for all across your store. So if we're going to set our logo right here, this is then automatically going to be updated. So in my case, I will just select my logo. And now this successfully got uploaded. We can also change the size of our logo by using this slider right here. Additionally, I will also add my favicon. This is super useful to just ensure a professional store setup. And then we are going to go to the color section. As I've already mentioned, I would recommend you to update your colors depending on your niche. In my case, I will just quickly do that. And as you can see, this right away does look way better and way more branded. I've actually updated the color scheme 1 to kind of work as a default color scheme, nothing too fancy, nothing too special. And then I've also edited the color scheme 2 to kind of work as an accent color scheme to highlight different kind of things. We can then also change stuff like the typography right here, so basically the font, or additionally, if you do have any social media profiles, you can also add them onto this right here, and now they're going to show up right here on the footer of your website. Alright, we can now actually continue by customizing our homepage. Now, as we are building a ONE Product Shopify Store, we don't really need to spend much time customizing the homepage, as we're either way going to send most of the traffic right onto the product page. However, still, I would recommend you to set up some basics, which we are going to do right now. So first off, I'm going to select this image with text section right here, and then I'm going to simply upload an image. I'm going to use this one for this example, and if you do want to change any settings like the image height, desktop image width, desktop image placement and so on, we can do this by using these settings on the right. But I will then actually also just select this heading right here, and I will change this to by the air frost. And I then basically do want to change the button settings right here. I do want to change the button link to the actual product page of our product and not to the all products tab. This is just to make sure that the checkout process is as simple as possible for the customers. And then we are going to add a new section onto this. As you can see, you are going to have quite a lot of different sections. In my case, I'm simply just going to add a multi-row section. Now these multi-row sections do actually work great to display all sorts of different unique selling points of your product. You can actually use this to display different kind of images. However, additionally, you can actually also upload TikTok videos onto this, or basically videos in general, which I would actually highly recommend you to do, especially if you're dropshipping, for example. It is always good to have a video of your product. This just in general is going to ensure that your customers are going to get a more visual feeling of what your product is going to be like. However, as you can see, by default, this actually is kind of weirdly cut off, which obviously we would want to change. To do this, you will have to just select the parent section, in this case the multi-row section, and then change the image height to adapt to image. Perfect. And as you can see, now we also do see the text, and this kind of just works great to get people to actually buy the product. Alright, as you can see, I now have added a picture onto this, as well as another TikTok video. By the way, if you do want to actually add TikTok videos yourself onto your Shopify store, you will have to use an app called SnapTik, where you will then have to basically paste in the link of your TikTok video, and you can then download your TikTok without a watermark. And then additionally, you will actually have to convert that exact video to a GIF file, otherwise you can't actually upload it onto Shopify. Either way, you can actually then also further customize this by changing up the button label right here, for example. So in my case, I will just change this to buy now, and then I'm just going to link this onto the actual product page right here. However, if you do want to, you can actually also simply just delete these buttons right here, which I will actually do right now. So as you can see, I now just deleted all of the buttons, and I will then add a final section onto my Shopify homepage. This would be actually, a featured product section right here. This is just going to give customers the option to actually buy the product. So in this case, I'm just going to select the air frost, and now they do have 3 different kind of unique selling points, as well as the option to actually buy the product. Let's now continue by customizing our product page. To do this, simply just head over to this homepage section right here on top, and then change this to products, and then to default product right here. This is then going to redirect us onto the actual product page. In my case, this would be the air frost. And right here, we will basically then see all of the different settings like we have set up beforehand, like color, like the description, and so on. Now, actually setting up the product page is by far the most important thing when setting up your Shopify store in general, so please do listen carefully. First off, if you do want to change the actual product display right here, you can do so by selecting the product information section right here on the left, and then you're going to get all of the settings on the right. Like this, you can change up the desktop media width, media fit, desktop layout, and so on. You can actually also add new blocks onto this product information section, which we are actually going to take advantage of. So to do this, simply just head over to the left, click on add block, and in our case, we are going to first of all add an icon with text block. This is now going to show up like this. As you can see, we are going to by default have this heart icon, as well as this return icon and this truck icon. However, you can also change this up. You can use any of the default icons right here, or you can actually also use a tool like flat icon to get all sorts of different icons for free. As you can see, I for example looked up cow, and even this is going to be available. You can basically just use this tool to get all sorts of different icons. Now in general, I would recommend you to use this icon with text block right here to kind of build trust with your customers, to actually give them a reason on why they should buy from your store, why they should actually trust your store, and so on. So we aren't actually going to go over any product features inside here, just trust factors essentially. So like for example, for this return icon right here in the middle, I'm just going to say that this is now going to say free 30 days returns. Then for the truck, we can say, okay, that we are going to offer fast shipping times. Then for the heart, we can, for example, say made with love in the US. I don't know, I'm just making things up. Obviously, you can also put in other things. These would just be some simple examples. Then we are actually also going to add another block onto this. This would be a collapsible row content right here. So just select collapsible row, and then we actually do want to add a new block, also collapsible row, and let's actually also add a third collapsible row item. Perfect. Now we do have these collapsible row things right here. These were great to kind of put out different kind of infos about your product, about the different use cases, and so on. So for example, for the first collapsible row, I'm then just going to say, okay, that the heading is going to be, how does the air frost work? And then we can actually change up the icon. So let's, for example, look for a question mark. And then we do have this right here. We can, for example, say that, okay, as for the second one, we are going to add a heart. And then we can say, or guarantee. As for the actual row content right here, I'm just going to put in, we specialize in creating the best customer experience possible, and we guarantee you a fast shipping, exceptional product, and free returns. Just be basic, just tell them why they should actually trust you, and so on. As for the third option, I'm for example now just going to add, let's just rename this to, how long does shipping take? And then I'm going to change the icon to a truck. As for the actual row content, this could for example be, we do ship with DHL Express or UPS Express, doesn't really matter, and we offer a 7-day shipping inside the US. As you can see now, we've added these collapsible row elements, and these work actually great in terms of displaying different kind of reasons on why people should actually go for this product. We are now going to continue by once again adding a multi-row section onto this. You already know this from the homepage. In this case, I will just delete one of these multi-rows, as I actually only do need 2. And I'm now just going to update the content right here. Alright, perfect. I now added these 2 images right here. There is still one thing left to do. As you can see, these images don't really fit nicely. So we will have to once again select the parent section, in this case the multi-row section, and then we are going to change the image height to adapt to image. Perfect. Now this does look pretty good, and we are now going to continue by adding a new section onto this. In this case, we are right now going to add a multi-column section, and this is actually also super useful. Let me quickly show you why. So first of all, we are going to delete the heading for this, I guess, and then we are also going to delete the button. Now, basically, this multi-column section is going to allow us to kind of elevate our brand by kind of using icons. Let me just show you how this is going to work. So first off, I'm going to start off with this first column. I'm going to actually delete the description from this. Then as for the heading, I'm just going to add something. Basically, I'm just going to add a unique selling point of my product, the solution for summer heat. Perfect. I will now actually basically have to choose an icon for this. To do this, we are once again going to use flat icon. As always, all of the links are going to be down below. And I'm then just going to look for cold. And in this case, let's just find a good one. In this case, I'm just going to use this icon right here, going to download it. It is completely free to use. And then we can actually use it by simply selecting the item right here. And then we can actually upload the image right here on the right. So we'll quickly just drag this onto this. And now we can actually, once it's processed, we can actually check this. And now this got added. Okay. Right now this doesn't really look nice. No worries, we are going to change this up later on. Then we are going to repeat this process with the second column, going to delete the description as well as for the third one. And I'm now just going to say, stay cool anywhere. And then once again, I'm going to use an icon from flat icon. In this case, I'm just going to look for cold wind, something like this. And I personally prefer to actually go for a flat white option. However, you can actually also go for colored ones. It is going to come down to your own preferences essentially. And then I'm just going to select this once again. As for the third column, I'm actually going to change this to elevate your home. I don't know. I guess this will work fine. And then I'm just going to look for something like home. Let's see. Yeah, I guess maybe something like this. I'm just going to use this either way. And then I'm going to add this onto this right here. Perfect. And now this got added. Now we can actually select this. And now we will actually have to change up the style of this multi-column section. To do this, select the whole multi-column section on the left. And then we are going to, first of all, change the column alignment to center. And then as for the image width right here, we are actually going to change this to 1/3 width of column. And now this is going to look way nicer. And basically now this is going to look perfect for our landing page. And then we are actually going to top this off by simply just adding a rich text element right here. Where is it? Here, rich text. And then we are basically going to add a quote onto this. First of all, I'm going to delete the button right here. And then we are going to actually add something like the air frost is a total, I don't know, game changer, compact, quiet, and super effective. I don't know, I'm just making things up. You would obviously have to actually choose an actual review or something which is going to represent your product really well. And then we are just going to add something like Lucas G. And then basically we are right now done with the product page. However, we will have to actually add 2 apps onto our product page to increase our conversion rate. To do this, simply opt out of the product page customization window and then look for, basically click on the search icon right here on top. And then first of all, we will have to look for Loox. This is going to be the app. This is going to be called Loox Product Reviews app. Now this is going to be a product reviews app, as you've already imagined. However, they also have a ton of other great features which are going to help to improve your conversion rate by quite a lot. Now there is actually going to be a free trial available for this. However, this is sadly going to start at $10 per month. However, if you do remember correctly, we actually do have $50 in store credits for completely free from our free trial. So we can just use these store credits and we won't actually have to pay for this. But even without the store credits, $10 for this app is a no-brainer in my opinion, as it will significantly improve the conversion rate of your store. But let me show you how. Just click on install right here, and this will then actually redirect you to the installation part of this app. Just click on install. And then we can actually get started with our free trial. I'm just going to start my 14-day free trial right now. And this will then basically be approved within one click. And we are going to have 14 days to actually test this app. So even if you don't like it, you can always just remove it. So then we will actually have to go ahead and set up a store. First of all, our primary store language is going to be English. You are also going to have tons of other options out there. And then right here we can set our brand color. This is actually a super nice feature, and by setting this brand color, all of the different Loox widgets are just going to feel basically more customized on the store. So as you can see, I've added my brand color. As for the icon color, I would recommend you to just leave this at the default, and then you can actually also change up the icon style if you do want to. In my case, I'm just going to leave it at this simple star icon. We can change up the reviews widget layout. However, I'm not going to do that. I'm just going to click on continue right now. And then we will basically have to set up when Loox should ask for reviews on your product. So basically Loox is going to automatically send out emails for your customers, and they're then going to basically help you to get more reviews for your product. In this case, we can actually set a time either after fulfillment or after purchase. In my case, I'm just going to leave it at 14 days after fulfillment, and I'm then going to click at continue. We can then actually also offer a discount for submitting photo and video reviews, which I would actually recommend you to do. Like this is actually going to ensure that you are going to get the most amount of reviews as possible, which in return actually then will also improve the overall social proof that you can actually do on your online store, which then in return will actually improve the conversion rate, drive more sales, and so on. However, I'm just going to go for this simple 10% for photos and 15% for videos option right here. And then we can actually also set up a referrals program if you do want to. However, I'm not actually going to do that, but this is actually also a super good way to drive even more traffic onto your store. But in the beginning, this isn't really necessary, and also with this, you will have to basically just skip this right here. Okay. Then we will have to add the product reviews widget onto our store. Just click on add products reviews widget, and this will then automatically redirect us onto the Shopify theme editor right here on the left. Just make sure to click on got it right here, and then this automatically added the product reviews widget onto this. So actually, as you can see, I guess I will just save this, and then we will also have to add Loox onto our theme. As you can see, this is then going to open up a new tab where on the app embeds, you will have to make sure that this is going to be enabled. Then click on save. And now we can head back to Loox. Now we can click on continue. Now we can actually also add the rating widget onto our store. I'm also going to do that. As you can see, this would be down right here. However, I'm actually going to move this up right under the price. And then we are going to have the ratings right here. I will also show you how to customize this later on. No worries. For now, I'm just going to save this. And now we can actually continue. And we can actually now enter the admin settings. So basically with Loox, you are going to have the reviews, the referrals, and the upsells. In my case, I'm only going to cover the reviews as these are by far the most important ones. However, right here you can then actually also see all of the dollar amounts that these different kind of sections have generated for you. But let's get started with the reviews. So we will now have to actually import our reviews. So just click on import reviews right here, and then we are basically going to have three different options. First of all, if you, for example, are dropshipping, then your product most likely is already on AliExpress, and then you can just use their one-click import tool right here. You will just have to drag this onto your bookmarks bar right here, and then you can go to AliExpress. Then you will have to find your product. In this case, this would be our product for a store. And then you can just click on here on the extension. And this is then automatically going to open up this Loox add-on, where you will then have to select the product. You can then actually choose between 20 and 100 reviews. I will just select 100. And then we can basically go through the settings. So, for example, we can say that we only do want to import 5 stars or 4 stars and up. We can say that we only want reviews from countries. We do want to translate them and so on. Make sure to select this option right here so that you are only going to import reviews with pictures, and then you will basically have to go through this. You can then basically say that you do want to either import this review or you do want to reject it and so on. As you can see now, the import got completed and we can head back to Loox. Secondly, you can actually also import reviews from supported apps. You can see them right here, or you can simply just import your reviews from a spreadsheet. Now that we've imported our reviews, these are going to show up under manage reviews right here. As you can see, we are going to have 4.8 on 54 reviews. Basically, you can also add more, but this is going to work perfectly fine for the beginning. And now we can head to the reviews widget. As you can see, by default, our product reviews widget basically already is on our product page. We've already set this up beforehand. However, I would actually recommend you to activate two other widgets on here. First off, the pop-up widget. So just click on activate. And then secondly, also add the snippets widget. Just click on add to theme. And now this is actually going to add a snippet onto the product page, showing off different kind of reviews. Make sure to actually drag it under the rating widget. And now this should actually show up, and as you can see now there are going to be different kind of reviews displayed. Now we are actually going to customize this rating widget, so simply just copy this exact text right here, and this is then going to say 4.8 out of 5 stars based on 43 plus reviews. Obviously, if you do have even more reviews, this would actually be better, but either way we are going to get started with 43 reviews. We can then actually also change the widget alignment. In my case, I'm going to change it back to, basically I'm going to change it to center. And if you're now going to take a closer look at the bottom left, you can see that this pop-up right here actually also got added. This is the other widget which I showed you to actually add, and this will also kind of help to improve the social proof and to improve the conversion rate of your store. So I will now actually save this for now. We are pretty much done as for Loox. You can obviously also even further customize this. For example, you can add a testimonial carousel widget, a happy customers page, a calorie carousel, and basically with Loox you are going to have tons of different options, but I really don't want to overcomplicate stuff. However, if you do want to even further improve your conversion rate and basically your sales, you can also implement referrals and upsells. But for now, we are actually going to click on the search function right here on top, and we will have to look for bundle. So just click on search bundle in the Shopify App Store. And now we are going to see all of the different bundle apps available. Now I would actually recommend you to simply just go for this Kaching bundle quantity breaks and then install this onto the Shopify store. Using this bundle app, basically we can further improve our average order value by simply just giving the customers an option to basically buy more quantity of our product. So right here we will then once again have to sign up for a free trial. However, the upside of this is that you are only going to have to pay depending on how much money you're going to make with this. So I'm just going to get started with this one right here. And if we are going to make basically more than $1,000 with this, we would then have to update this actually. So I will now just create a deal. I will just name this bundle 1. And then as for the actual block settings, bundle and save, I guess I will just leave it at the default. This is going to work perfectly fine. As for the visibility, we can just leave this at all products, or we can just say that this should specifically should show up at our Air Force product right here. And then we can actually change up the layout. I actually usually really like this default layout right here. However, you can actually also change this. I will just leave it at the default. So now we can actually let customers choose different kind of variants for each item, which I would actually recommend you to do if you do have different variants, and this kind of could get people into buying multiple products of yours. For example, they could then buy one air cooler in white, one air cooler in blue, and so on. We can actually also hide the theme variant picker, and like this we can just use this option right here. This is going to come down to your own basically your own personal preferences. I will actually leave on the theme variant picker, I guess. As for the pricing, we can show the prices per item, or we can actually also show both prices. I wouldn't recommend you to do this. And you can also use the product compared price. As for the price rounding, you can actually do this. I would recommend you to do this just to make it look a little bit more nicely. And then we can actually also skip the cart and go to checkout directly if we do want to. As for the bar 1, so this would be your default standard price. I would recommend you to just leave this at default and basically just leave this however you want. As for the bar 2, this would be the duo option right here, and this you can actually customize. For example, if you do want to say, okay, the person should actually save 15% with this, then you can also customize this right here by simply just updating the discount per item price as well as the subtitle right here. And then the price, you can actually say discounted, and basically this is just going to work perfectly fine. As for the other bar 3, we can just leave this at the default, and we can then even add a new deal onto this if we do want to. As for the corner radius, I usually like to keep this turned on, and as for the actual color, I would recommend you to basically customize this depending on your own theme. So in my case, I would just quickly open up my theme right here, and I'm then going to go for one of the theme colors, as we basically do want to create this in kind of the same style. So where is it? Right here. I will then just upload this. And I guess this kind of would be a little bit too light, so I'm going to change this maybe to something like this. Yeah, I think something like this could actually work pretty good. And then I'm just going to leave it at this. We can then also change up the typography if we do want to, but generally we don't need to do this. Now just save this. And if we're now going to, basically now we do have to activate it, just click on right here. And this is then going to once again redirect you to this page where you will have to select the app embeds on the left right here. Just going to click on save. And if we're now going to view our online store, let's actually click on shop now. And as you can see, now we do have this bundle option right here where people can actually go for the duo option. Then they are going to have the color. And if they are going to go for the trio option, they're going to save even more money. And basically this is just another way to actually improve the conversion rate of your store. As you can see, we also do have this product reviews thing right here where we can then click on, we can see all of the product review snippets and so on. We do have our product reviews right here. This is just going to show up basically all of our reviews. We can even load some more if we do want to. And we do then also do have the pop-ups of our product reviews on the bottom left right here. Perfect. Our store is pretty much done by now. Right now we will still have to do one final step, which would be setting up everything in the backend. Now this is going to be a little bit boring, but you have to do this, otherwise you can get into legal trouble. Otherwise your customers can check out and so on. To get started, head over to the settings on the bottom left. We are going to get started by setting up shipping and markets for our store. Now, by default, if we are going to head over to markets right here, your store is going to be active in your primary local market. However, if you do, for example, want to basically serve international customers, you will have to basically activate that by clicking on international and by then setting this to active. Now we will actually have to add some shipping rates for these markets. So to do that, head over to shipping and delivery. And now we will have to actually click on general shipping rates. And now right here, we are going to have two different options. First of all, the domestic shipping zone. This actually already has been done by default. And then we also do have the international shipping zone. So basically we can simply just add a rate onto this. So first of all, we can use a flat rate, or we can also use carriers to actually calculate the rates. I would recommend you to do this if you do have multiple different products, but if we are only going to build up a one product store, this isn't actually necessary. I'm just going to say that this is going to be the standard shipping rate, so or let's actually say economy, and then we are going to say that this is going to actually cost $0. So we are going to offer a free shipping option. However, let's actually be a little bit smart about this. Let's add a condition onto this, and let's base this off the actual order price. Now, if we are actually going to look at our store, as you can see that basically if we're going to click on our product, this is going to cost 29 bucks. So if we're smart about this, we are going to actually put in the minimum price at $50 so that basically all of our customers are only going to get free shipping if they buy 2 of our products right here. I'm actually going to do that. I'm going to click on done right now, and then I will also add another rate just for all of the other orders, and this is now going to cost $5 for the shipping. You will then have to repeat this process with international. Obviously international shipping most of the time is going to cost you a little bit more. So in this case, I'm just going to say that this is going to be free, but we are going to add a condition onto this. And in this case, this is only going to be for orders upwards of $100. Okay. And then we are going to say that, okay, as for the normal shipping rate, this is going to cost 10 bucks. All right. So now we've successfully added our shipping rates. However, we now do actually need to let our customers check out on our store. To set this up, head over to Payments. Now basically Shopify is going to offer you a lot of different payment providers for your store. By default, I would recommend you to set up Shopify Payments, as Shopify Payments is going to give you guys a 0% transaction fee as well as card rates starting at 2.9%, which basically is industry leading, I guess. So I would highly recommend you to just click on complete account setup right here, and then you will have to submit all of your details. Depending on where you live, this can be a little bit different. However, if you, for example, are just an individual, you would just have to put in these details right here. And once you're ready, you can then just submit this for identification. And then after a couple of hours, this should actually be set up. Additionally, if you don't have Shopify Payments available, you can click on manual payment method right here. You can click on add payment method right here. And then you can use different kind of payment methods like to checkout or different kind of payment providers. Like to checkout. These are also going to allow your store to accept Visa, MasterCard, Amex, and so on. However, the transaction fee for these third-party payment providers are going to be way higher. Additionally, if you do want to add some special payment methods like Afterpay, for example, you can do so right here. Or if you, for example, do want to add Bitcoin, you can do this, and so on. Additionally, I would also recommend you to set up PayPal payments. This is only going to take you a couple of seconds. You can just complete the account setup right here, and this will then either allow you to connect your business account, or you can just create a PayPal business account within a few clicks. This is going to be super easy, and this can actually improve your conversion rate by quite a lot. Additionally, make sure that the default store settings right here are set up. So you will just have to click on edit, and you will then have to actually update the actual store name of this. So in my case, I'm just going to name this to the Air Frost. And then we can actually save this. You can right here also set up the business address as well as your store currency and so on. Then we will have to actually add some basically legal pages, which we can do within a few clicks. No worries, simply just head over to policies on the bottom left, and we will then have to get started by actually setting up our return policies. Just click on manage right here, and right here you will then have to go through basically all of the different options and settings when it comes to returns. So for example, if you do only accept returns within the first 14 days, you will have to select it right here. As for the return shipping cost, we can then select that either it should be free or the customer provides a return shipping. And basically, you will just have to go through this dependent on your own store. However, in general, I would recommend you to just leave this at 30 days and to actually tick customer provides return shipping and then save this. If we're now going to go through this, you will actually have to turn on these return rules. And now basically we will have to generate all of the legal pages. Now you can actually simply generate these by clicking on create from template, and now Shopify is going to give you a template for this. However, you will still have to actually read through this. You will have to update this accordingly with your address, for example, with your personal data. And as for shipping policy and contact information, actually contact information not, but as for shipping policy, you will have to set this up on your own. So in this case, I'm just going to say something like the shipment is going to be made within 14 days of ordering. I don't know, I'm just going to put this in, and now we can actually save this. Now we have created our different kind of pages, and I will now show you how to add them onto our Shopify store. So if we're now going to view our store, we can see that we first of all do have a header menu right here. We, by the way, also do need to update this. I will right now show you how to, but then we also do have the footer. And I will show you how to actually add the legal pages to the footer. So to get started, just select online store on the left and then head over to navigation. To actually add the legal pages, click on footer menu and then click on add menu item. In this case, you can then just select policies, and you will have to then go through all of the different policy pages that you have created. And we can now actually save this menu. Additionally, we will also have to set up our main menu right here on top. So in this case, I'm just going to delete the contact thing right here. And I'm then just going to add a new menu item onto this, and I'm just going to select our product, which in this case would be the Air Frost. I'm just going to add this, and I'm then going to save this. If we're now going to open up our editor, we can now see the updated, actually this is going to take a couple of seconds to update. Let me quickly refresh the site. As you can see, now this successfully has been updated. And in this case, I will actually also change up the desktop logo position to middle left. think something like this actually does work better, I guess. And then we will also have to add the legal pages onto the footer. To do this, head over to the footer section right here on the bottom left, then click on footer, and then we will have to add a new block. In this case, we will just have to select menu, and now we are going to basically have the display of all of the different legal pages, and now we can just save this and we are pretty much done with the legal pages. Additionally, head over to settings. We still have one final step left, which would be setting up our domain. So just head over to domains right here, and then you are going to have the option to either buy a domain within Shopify. This is most of the time going to cost quite a lot of money, or additionally, you can also connect an existing domain. So if you actually do want to save some money, I will leave you a link for this down below. I would recommend you to just buy a domain of Hostinger and then connect it. It is only going to take a couple of minutes, and you are going to save $10 or so. Or if you don't want to go through the hassle, you can also just simply buy a domain within Shopify. If you found this video helpful, please make sure to like and subscribe. It would really mean the world to me. Also, if you do want to supercharge your whole Shopify journey, make sure to right now get my Shopify course for completely free, where we will teach way more stuff, like for example, setting up different kind of ad accounts and so on.